Yeah, buddy. What's going on, everybody? Ryan the Mighty Quinn here, the cornerman underscore MMA. Few major fight announcements broke today, within the last few hours, actually. This one is going to be one that I have personal interest in, as well as I think it's definitely the biggest one of all of the three major ones this week, the other ones in a few days. But UFC 291, Salt Lake City. They're revamping the rebirth of the BMF, the bad motherfucker title. Wasn't sure if I was going to say that or not. Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje 2. The ultimate banger going down for a belt now. Awesome. Uh, can't wait for it. This is a 5-round fight. I will be surprised if this fight does go 5 rounds. Probably like a fourth roundish is what I'm thinking here. Now, the interesting about this fight is, as you know, I usually break down, who is where. Obviously, these guys are always within one or two fights from title contention. I did not see what their rankings are. Would not be surprised if a finishing win by either gets the other a title shot again. So, how do we break this down? Now, with two fighters that are so similar, it's kind of almost an injustice to do what we usually do here. As far as like the striking, the wrestling, the grappling, who wins where, but we're gonna do that anyway. So let's get to it. Now, the striking, I'm going Dustin. Not even just because he won by knockout the first time they fought. I truly believe that Dustin has the more refined striking, the more refined overall boxing that Justin does. Justin does create some issues with the angles he has, but the overall sweet science, I got to go to Dustin. Um, Power, I guess, somewhat leans to Justin, but not really. So I don't know. It's a very difficult thing, but overall, I just think that the crisper boxing, the overall footwork and everything goes to my man Dustin. Wrestling, obviously, I'm going to Division One All American. I'm going to give it to Gaethje. I'm going to go grappling to Dustin again. So we'll see. I think that the wrestling might play in later. We will see. All right, so let's break it down. How does this fight go? Let's start with Dustin. Um, no, let's start with Justin. Let's start with Gaethje. How does Gaethje win? Gaethje is so good with overpowering people with those angle punches I described. He has, for somebody with long arms, he does a really good job of doing the phone booth fight style with the angles he creates. He's got to find a way to implement that game, and he can't do that against the Dustin Poirier out in the middle. So he's gonna have to find a way to get Dustin to the edge of the fence. He's got it, whether he does that jab to the body, which is going to be a little more difficult against a southpaw fighter, or right hand to the body, just to get Dustin on his heels a little bit and be very calculative to get Dustin to where he can't get away, get out of harm's way, get out of dodge, and he can create that phone boot fight. That's what he's got to do to win this fight. That's what he's got to do to score. Up and down the head, all that. Just do those angle punches that Justin is so good at. Now, Dustin, what Dustin is so good at, and why he does a few things very well, not just better than Gaethje. He just does it. This is why his striking is so successful. His feint is better. If Justin could develop a feint, this might be a different game. It could easily be who wins the feint game is going to win this fight. Because where Dustin would use a feint to create an angle, Justin could use a feint to cover the gap. We could easily see that here. However, it's going to be a little bit hard to develop a little bit better. I think just for Justin, because Dustin is so good at creating those angles. But that doesn't mean Justin's a world class fighter. If the guy got a better feint in the next 6 weeks, would it surprise anybody? So Justin would be the one to create the feint, to use the feint to come forward. I do, circling back a little bit, think that Justin should probably use that feint a little bit more than has been, or a little bit more of a stricter boxing feint, as opposed to just reaching out with the jab as he sometimes does, like that half jab, so to speak, as opposed to a quote unquote feint would be a quote unquote quarter jab. He should use that to cover a little distance and then create a mini angle himself to corral Dustin to the side. Now back to Dustin's game plan. What Dustin needs to do to win this fight is, He needs to establish that feint like he does. I know I shared with him on the interview I had with him on here how I remember his feint was getting so good. I remember one time he feinted me. It feinted me clear out of my pants. I went like this, threw it all up. Boxing coach Di Davis went, woo! It was so embarrassing. He's got a fantastic feint. And then it's what comes after the feint that does the damage. By the time you get Justin doing this, there's already 3 power shots coming your way. So if Dustin could establish that feint, it's going to open up his power strike combinations with those long bat reach arms that he's got. On top of that, Dustin is very good at creating feints. I mean, creating traps, especially for somebody like a Justin who likes to come forward like I wouldn't necessarily call him a north south fighter. The hill downhill fighter speed. That comes for Dustin because he's and not punch liver or not. Taking the later on his career. Earlier on, last time he really did it bad was against the Michael Johnson. Obviously, we know what happened there. He's now become a little bit patient on the knockdowns, and he finishes the fights calculatively. And I think that's where this favors Dustin. That's why this stand-up favors Dustin. So adjustments. It's hard to have adjustments in a fight like this because they're so dominant in one area. But obviously, I think that Justin, oh, by the way, there was someone on my YouTube channel. We bet 200 push-ups that Justin could take. I said Justin could take down Fiziev, and he did that. I don't care when he did it. It's that he did it in the fight, and that person never got back to me. So if you're watching this, you owe me 200 push-ups. So adjustments here. Same thing for Justin. Justin needs to go back to that wrestling if he's getting eaten up on his feet, plain and simple. He needs to get either Poirier against the fence, which is actually pretty difficult. Poirier can use his grappling against the fence. Actually, no. If I'm Justin, I would look for the takedowns. I would shoot underneath the big left hands. I would try to set up off the fence takedowns so Poirier can't use the fence to get up. I would try to establish those off the fence takedowns, off the fence wrestling if I'm Justin. Now, remember, if he's doing this, it's because he's losing the fight. So I would make this adjustment like late in the second round. That's the time to make the adjustments if you're losing the fight, if you're Justin Gaethje. Now, because he's losing this fight, if he's making these adjustments, he's probably getting beaten up. He's probably getting damaged. So get the takedown, choose some clock, recover. Don't play the jiu-jitsu game. Like I said prior, I think that Dustin has better jiu-jitsu grappling groundwork than Justin. Justin's messed me up all night on this. All right, so he's got to revert to the wrestling and score there on the last 3.25 rounds or so if he's going to win this fight. Maybe add a little bit of stand up later to get if he's able to wrestle in the middle of this fight, then yes, Dustin would probably get tired a little bit, and then it would open up the striking later in the fight. But that's all the adjustments. A lot more adjustments adjustments for Justin. Now adjustments for Dustin. So if Dustin's getting beaten up here, it's because Justin is controlling the cage, plain and simple. He's controlling Dustin's ability to move, create traps. He's keeping has his fence against the wall. So what does Dustin got to do here? First of all, Dustin does have a nice standing guillotine, but that's kind of like a one-shot pot shot type deal. That's a really tough thing to set up. And I think that if Justin is winning this fight, it's not gonna create a position for itself. So if I'm Dustin, my adjustments would be can't create the feints. I would just start throwing the straight left hands off center and see what it opens up. Straight left hands to the body, straight left hands to the right, and then create an angle that way if you could. Left hand sidestep, left hand roll, sidestep, stuff like that. Be a little more aggressive with the straight left hand because I got to create space. I got to give Justin something to appreciate and not come forward. Or if Justin, this is not strange territory to Poirier, where if Justin Gaethje is going crazy on his combinations, Poirier returns with counter striking. I mean that would be it. So that would be the adjustments for Poirier: a little bit more counter striking and a little more left to the body to create space to create another angle, to create another combination. So the combination is a little bit minor, a little bit. You could actually make those adjustments going back and forth. It's more of a plan 1A, 1B for Dustin Poirier as opposed to Gaethje, which he would have to make a little bit more major adjustments to win rounds, win situations. Anyway, great fight. Really can't wait. Bunch more coming. Looking forward to the UFC this weekend back in Vegas. Let me know what you guys think. Talk to you later. Bye.